walking to Churchill, Manitoba.
Yes, it's a crisp minus 40 with the wind chill.
That's right, but quite nice now. The air is really crisp and clean. We got a jet blue sky up, totally clear right now, which is a good thing because we're on a wait list for an Aurora Borealis tour,
yes.
A Northern Lights tour.
Yes, so this is the deal. You pay $25 as a down payment, which is non-refundable. But during your stay in Churchill, the organizers will phone you if there is an active Aurora Borealis. And so we were waiting for our call between 8:30 and midnight last night. That is the range that they have. In which case, if there was activity, they would pick us up and take us to a dark place, a secret place of their choosing. Unfortunately, it was overcast yesterday.
Yes, that's right. So we just sat there. We watched some TV in our lovely bed and breakfast.
Yes.
And enjoyed the evening, but the call never did come.
No.
So hopefully tonight we'll see what happens. The forecast in terms of cloudiness is that it should be partly cloudy, partly sunny. So right now I think it's defined forecast because it is totally sunny right now. So you never know.
Right.
And,
apparently there is a microclimate over the Hudson Bay coast, so anything can happen.
So anyways, we're all prepared. In the meantime, today we're going to be doing some more exploring of Churchill. It's a small town, but it's got some interesting museums here. And we're going to be taking a tour of some of those museums and chomping down on some food as well. Yeah,
and a few stores. There are some exotic northern goods here.
Yeah, that's right. Anyways, I guess we better get going.
Sure.
In our previous video, our Via Rail train trip to Churchill was delayed, cancelled, and then rerouted in a large part by bus. But we miraculously got to Churchill as planned and only 4 hours late. In our next video, we'll attempt the return journey to our home in Winnipeg. But stay tuned, there are no sure things when it comes to train travel in Canada. Churchill is truly a unique destination. Nestled on the west shore of Hudson Bay, this subarctic town, with a population of just 800 to 900 people, has no roads leading to it. You either arrive by train, as we did, or you fly here. We're going to start our walk around town with the Itsanitaq Museum. In any other city, this would be considered a world-class museum. Established in 1944 by Catholic missionaries, it has a collection of some 1,300 items, including Inuit carvings and artifacts dating from the 1930s and onwards. About 56% of Churchill's population is Indigenous, either Inuit, Métis, or First Nations. Welcome to the Churchill Town Centre Complex. Built in 1976, this massive 220,000 square foot building contains a library, theatre, gymnasium, hockey arena, swimming pool, school, and hospital, all connected by internal walkways. It's a bright, warm space for locals to gather and to escape the extreme weather and perhaps the polar bears that might be roaming the streets just outside. This is the polar bear capital of the world. There are also beluga whales, and there's birding, and the scenery is downright spectacular. Speaking of which, the Hudson Bay lies just beyond the town complex, and here, as we make our way past the beluga boat, which lies right on the shoreline, we get our first polar bear warning. We're here in March, and there are no polar bears. They're off on the ice right now. If you want to see polar bears, October and November are the months to be here, and we'd be paying much closer attention to all the polar bear warning signs in town. St. Paul's Anglican Church, which dates back to 1892, is a unique prefabricated church with a structure made of iron. Only 3 of these were ever built in Canada. A couple of notable gift shops are the 58 North Boutique, specializing in contemporary gifts and fashions, and the nearby Arctic Trading Company with a more traditional collection of wares, including Inuit carvings. To get a glimpse of life in a small, isolated community, take a look inside the Northern Store, which sells everything from hardware to liquor to groceries. You'll be astounded at how much food costs up here. At the other end of town is Tamarack Groceries, with a varied selection of food items and some very tasty homemade sandwiches and treats. March is Churchill's off-season, and so there are only 2 restaurants open. Fortunately, the Ptarmigan produces some excellent plates equal to a fine restaurant in any cosmopolitan city. Today is their special St. Patrick's Day fare. Our only other dining option was the Reef Restaurant in the Seaport Hotel. It offers more in the way of standard fare, such as burgers, ribs, and some fish dishes. Well, it's a new day, and alas, the opportunity to see Northern Lights last night did not work out. Too bad, because it was our last chance. This evening, we'll be catching the train back to Winnipeg. Or will we? Our consolation prize this morning is a visit to the Parks Canada Visitor Centre in the Churchill train station. Its exhibits showcase national historic sites in northern Manitoba, offer a look into a life-sized polar bear maternity den, and explores the relationship of Indigenous peoples to this land. Not to mention the chance to get up close and cozy with a polar bear. That afternoon, we took an excellent guided tour of the town and surrounding territory with Discover Churchill. This was a chance to explore the different facets of Churchill that have played important roles in its history. Churchill's location alongside Hudson Bay led to its development as an Arctic port in the 1930s for shipping grain and other goods. Today, the port no longer functions, but its remaining structures dominate the landscape. These days, many of the buildings here and elsewhere in the Churchill region have been painted with vibrant murals completed under the auspices of the Seawalls Churchill project. Originally intended to educate and inspire Churchill to protect the oceans, the project actually served to remind the community of its own value in the world. So what happens when you have 1,000 polar bears roaming around your community? Inevitably, conflict occurs, and on occasion, bears need to be temporarily relocated to the polar bear holding facility. The premise is that extended captivity will create in the bears a sense of danger, making them reluctant to approach town. The bears are not fed during captivity, since their natural life cycle involves long periods of fasting. Churchill also has a substantial military and aerospace history, as evidenced in these now deserted 1960s radar stations, also known as the Churchill golf balls. Further down the road is the Churchill Rocket Research Range, built by the United States as a northern base of operations for its rocket program in 1957-58. Subsequently taken over by Canada, it became the country's premier upper atmosphere research center, a world-renowned weather-sounding facility. The site is no longer operational, although the launch site structures are preserved and the administrative building is used as the Churchill Northern Studies Center. Time for one last dinner at the Ptarmigan. Boy, I love this dish.
Okay, welcome to our very nice abode here in Churchill, Manitoba, the Beluga Beach House. And yeah, we're just cooling our heels right now. We have a couple of events that have happened to us just recently. The first of which is, Gail?
Well, let's put it this way. We should have been leaving about now to walk to the train station to catch our train back to Winnipeg. It was scheduled to leave at 8:30, but that's not going to happen, is it, David?
No, it's not going to happen. There's been a series of delays. First of all, we were tracking a train that was coming from Winnipeg to Churchill, and that train was, I guess, fairly significantly delayed. And even though it was supposed to arrive here in Churchill at 9 a.m. in the morning, actually arrived about somewhere between 4:30 and 5 o'clock this evening. And the downside of that is that it takes time then for them to refit the train for the journey back to Winnipeg, and also to change crew. It requires a certain amount of time for that to happen. So the end result is that our train is not going to be leaving until 3:45 in the morning.
So that will be 3:45 on Friday morning. So we'll see how late we'll get into Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Okay, the other thing is that this now enables us to partake possibly in Northern Light viewing tonight. The last you'd heard from us was we were hoping that our second attempt to see Northern Lights
Last night.
Yes, would happen. But again, it was a cloudy night, despite the fact that they'd been bright days. So third time lucky, we're hoping. And what also bodes well is that the same outfitter, Discover Churchill,
Yes,
is going to take us on that if it comes to fruition. And they had taken us on a glorious tour this afternoon through Churchill.
That's right.
So, I think it's all going to work out well.
Yeah.
And let's add as a bonus, a cheers to our host, Roy. Not that we've seen him. We're in a bed and breakfast, but we have not seen him. But we've been in contact with him.
Yeah.
And he said, don't worry, stay in the accommodations. No additional charge. Such generosity, I'm just blown away.
Very nice, and it's indicative of people in general here in Churchill. Very friendly, and despite our problems with the Via Rail, they have bent over backwards to make all these awkward delays as pleasant as possible.
They make amends.
Yes, they do.
So we'll tell you a bit more about that maybe
That's
another
right.
time. But the point is that we're not out anything but maybe time, but this is all an adventure and we go with the flow.
That's right. And right now we're just on pins and needles, hoping that our Northern Lights trip later on tonight will work out and we'll get to see the Northern Lights. But time will tell.
In which case you will too.
Yes,
So
for sure.
here's hoping, and we'll say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
And we weren't disappointed. We got the call from Discover Churchill at about 11 p.m. What followed was an extraordinary display of the Aurora Borealis as lights danced endlessly overhead. It was David's first time photographing Northern Lights, but our tour guide gave ever so valuable advice on settings. David was madly clicking away, as were the Discover Churchill guides, who, even by their standards, considered this to be an exceptional display of Northern Lights. that has to be the best possible ending to our brief time in Churchill. We hope you enjoyed it, and as usual, if you did, we'd love to see those thumbs up. Also, please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and of course, we always appreciate your comments. We're off to the train station for what we hope will be another fantastic train adventure as we head back to Winnipeg. Be sure to check it out in our next video.